going on, guys? Welcome back to the Against All Odds podcast, first podcast of 2022. I'm here with Matteo. Matteo, we'll start you off with some rapid fire questions.
Thank you for having me on the podcast, man.
Yeah, whatever.
Pleasure to be here.
So, first question. What's your name?
My name is Matteo.
Full name.
Matteo Ritaccio.
Okay, Matteo Ritaccio.
No middle name.
Wow.
That's it. Yeah, just Matteo Ritaccio.
Very Italian.
That's it. Italian, 100%.
And you hold Italian U.S. citizenship?
I do. Both Italian and U.S. passports. So, yeah.
That's decent. What side of your family is from there?
So my grandparents on my dad's side were born in Naples. And on my mom's side, my great-grandparents were born, one in Calabria, which is down south, and one in Bologna, which is up north. So
wow, so you're full Italian.
Pretty fully Italian, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's your age?
I'm 20 years old.
Position?
Center mid, either box-to-box midfielder, defensive midfielder, or whatever the team needs, to be honest.
There you go.
Give you the good answer.
Yeah, there you go. Where are you from?
I'm from New York, so Long Island, New York. I grew up about 40 minutes outside of Manhattan, and stayed there from when I was born till 16 years old, and then moved over the pond to Liverpool, and been there since, and now I'm here in Charleston. So.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
You already get my fifth question. Where'd you play before Charleston?
So I was playing at Liverpool Football Club, obviously over in Liverpool, and so I'm on loan here, and I'm currently fulfilling my fourth season at Liverpool.
What's your favorite movie?
I would say Step Brothers. 100% Step Brothers.
Good answer.
No doubt.
Really good answer. Okay, so you know how like if you go to prison and you get like the death sentence, you get a last meal? What would your last meal be?
I'm not really picky about food, but
what's your last meal? What would you best thing in the world? No.
I would say pasta bolognese with fettuccine pasta though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pasta bolognese, Italian. Sticking to your roots.
The slow cooked sauce has to be.
Okay.
That's what.
Who's a player in like the top flight of football that you try to like emulate your game after?
Well, he is playing. He played many years in the top flight, but not at the moment. But Andres Iniesta, by far my favorite player, idol, 100%.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Love him.
Do you have any hobbies outside of football?
Hobbies outside of football. I do like fishing. I do fish,
okay.
Especially when the weather's conducive. Fishing. No, to be honest, other than that, I do read a bit. I'm reading a Dan Brown.
You don't have to lie. You don't have to lie for my podcast.
No, I'm a smart guy. But I'm reading the Dan Brown series, so Angels and Demons.
Yeah,
I'm reading that right now, and that's it. And I do actually like watching podcasts. So
okay, wow. So you're gonna watch my Against All podcast
100%.
Okay, and then last rapid fire question. Damn it, you already answered this one too. Favorite book?
Ooh. To be honest, that's not my favorite book, but I would say it's Taylor Winn-Dixie. I read it a while ago in school, but that's probably my favorite.
Okay, nice. And that's the rapid fire portion of the podcast. Get your feet wet.
There you go, warmed up, heart rate's up.
Okay, so the main thing I'm sure that people are interested in is that you've already talked about it, is that you are currently signed for Liverpool FC, which is pretty big, pretty cool. How did like that opportunity come up? Like how did you end up getting over there, getting seen by them, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I was quite young. I was I think 13 years old. I was invited to my first national team camp for that age group, for the 01 age group. And we were in LA. We happened to have a match, and just fortunately, one of their scouts was there. I happened to have a very good game, and they were able to get in touch with the director of coaching at my old club in New York. And they just wanted to see if I was willing to come on a trial, on a week and a half trial. And I did, and I went on a few more after that, they were spaced over a certain amount of months because of...
So you would go back home and then go back over to Liverpool?
Yeah, so I'd go for like about 10 days, 2 weeks, and then I'd come back and then spend a few months at home. Then I'd go again. Did that 3 or 4 times for about a year and a half or so. And then, or maybe 2 years. And then they offered me something called a scholarship contract, which is, it's like apprenticeship contract. And that's for their under 18 year. So there's 2 years you play under 18s. So I signed that and went over there. And then my second year of being an under 18, I signed a professional contract. And yeah, and so far, and now I'm here. So, yeah.
How did you get like to the U.S. youth national camp? Like,
to be honest, I think our team, we were part of the National Academy League, and they were quite good about having scouts at the games and at showcases, and we had quite a few showcases, especially at that age group. And I went to a few things they're called market training centers, where they it's a training for one night, and they get the players from that regional area, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and yeah, and then I went there a few times. I think they were happy with how I was playing, and yeah, gave me the invitation to go there. And then,
did your dad play professionally at all?
No, actually he didn't. He played high school and
in America.
And he was going to play college soccer, but then he had a very bad ankle injury, and that stopped his career. So yeah,
okay.
But my mom was a track runner, so I think it was 800 meters.
You didn't get those genes?
No, not the sprinting genes. Not the long distance genes maybe, but the sprinting genes.
Yeah.
No.
That's what's okay.
It's, me and Matt still have to race, so
you want to race?
I've got to teach him some sprinting drills. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'll be good to learn. You know who I actually really want to race is EJ.
Yeah.
EJ's fast.
Yeah, he's especially for 18. Like that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Benji looks fast too.
Benji, EJ. I think EJ's.
Yeah, I think EJ's gonna be the
once
fastest.
He takes off, he's just he's gone. He's gone. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then you have another brother that's two brothers, right, that are playing?
I have two. So one of them is not playing anymore, but he did play for a while. He played in the Academy League for a different team in New York. And then he played at a third division college in Oneonta. It's called Oneonta, New York. And then my other brother played a lot. Basically, all of our youth careers were at the same club, on the same team. And then he went off and played for Akron. And he's just graduated from there. And he was drafted by Chicago Fire. So, yeah, he's.
Have you talked to him lately? How's he doing?
Yeah, good. He's enjoying it. He loves it.
Has he signed yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. But hopefully soon. Yeah, but he's he's really like happy to have this opportunity, and he deserves it fully.
That's awesome. What position is he?
He's a center back.
Center back.
So center back, play right back. So both positions. Yeah.
Cool.
But,
okay.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Carlo. None of us look like each other at all. So I have straight brown hair, brown eyes. He has curly blonde hair, blue eyes, and my oldest brother has curly brown hair and blue eyes. So
that's funny. My brother, my brother and I are like that.
Nothing like
same thing. Yeah. He's 6'4".
Oh my God,
jet black hair, brown eyes.
Can he sprint like you though?
No, of course not.
There you go. There's always that.
No one can.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So then I'm guessing your family was very involved with like football from a very young age.
Yeah. So actually, funny enough, I was speaking to my mom and dad about it when I was home recently, and I asked them, I was like, what made you guys put us into soccer when we were young? You know, like intramurals for the town team, because to be honest, my mom didn't really play soccer. No one in our family played soccer. My dad played soccer, but it was just one of those things that I think they just like let us kind of choose what we wanted, you know. And I think the first thing all three of us went to was a soccer ball, and then the rest is just the rest, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Exactly.
So going back to Liverpool, you signed your academy contract first.
I did, yes.
And so right away, was it a 2-year like academy contract?
Yeah, 2-year academy contract. So their under 18s works as it's really like your first year you're an under 17, and the second year you're an under 18. So when you sign a scholar contract, it's usually for those 2 years. Yeah.
And when you signed that, did you get like a monthly salary from that? Yeah.
So it was a monthly salary. It was probably more of like a part-time pay, you know, because you're still technically an apprentice. And so you still did get paid, but it's obviously once you sign a professional contract, it's different, you know, because then that's obviously a full-time job, you know. But No, yeah, that was for 2 years, and then after that, so when I was an under 18, so my second year in that academy contract, I signed a professional contract for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you sign an academy contract, like, I bet it's like a weird feeling because you're like, wow, I got, to Liverpool as an academy player, but yet you haven't become a pro. You're not a pro. Like, you're not like there yet. So it's like a weird mix of like enjoying it, but also like, I haven't achieved that much, to be honest.
100%. It's one of those things where it's like, it's obviously a great achievement, and I was very proud of it and happy for it. But it's one of those things, you get there and then you open the door to that opportunity, and there's this massive amount of responsibility, standards, everything that you have to meet. And you even know that's like, there's still higher levels that you want to achieve and reach, So, yeah, but it's a good thing because you're in a place where you're very fortunate to be, and you just want to make the most of the opportunity. And
how was your adjustment period? Like going from an academy in America, then jumping to Liverpool's academy. I'm guessing it was a jump up.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you struggle with that, or did you feel like you just came in flying?
No, I think there was probably about a 6-month period of time, my first 6 months there. So that I had to do a lot of adjusting. Obviously the speed of play was definitely different. Even like the physical demands, especially at Liverpool, like it's a very intense principles that they have, and the way they want you to play is very intense. And that was on a physical aspect, or even a like football specific aspect. I definitely needed some adapting, but I trusted my ability. I knew that I was going to obviously stick with it, be dedicated to it, and my levels would raise, and get higher and higher. And another thing that I didn't realize when I first went there, but I did realize through experience, was I was quite homesick the first 6 months. I didn't realize.
You're 16, 17,
yeah,
right?
Of course. I didn't realize the effect being away from home and in a different environment, different people, different culture would have, and it was a time where there was times where maybe I struggled, sometimes where I was like, I'm really not playing my best, like, am I ever going to get to my best? Is this for me? Did I make the right move? And I think that was a period that, of course, at times it maybe didn't feel fantastic, but it was looking back on it, it's probably one of the times that helped me grow the most. Yeah, 100%.
And then what was like a typical like day in your life as an academy player? Because you still have school. Yeah. You're living I'm guessing in a little apartment with a roommate or something?
Yeah.
Or?
No, actually they put us in like a house family, so host parents. All of them that I've been to have been great people, very welcoming, made me feel at home. But so usually with the under 18s, at least for us back a few years ago, it was Monday, you would come in for education from 9 to 12. We would do the English education, which is called the BTEC in sport. And we used to do that from 9 to 12 at the academy. So a teacher from the local high school would come in. And then we would have lunch around 12. At 1 or 1:30, I think, we started pre-activation in the gym. 2:30, we were out on the pitch until 4-ish. And then 4:30, we had a lower body session. 6 o'clock, we would go home.
Got it.
And then Tuesday and Wednesday were the same type of days. So we would come in the morning, have breakfast around 8:45, pre-training in the gym at 10, training at 11, lunch after that around 12:31, then a gym session both days. So one was an upper body session, one was a lower body session, and then we'd be done by 3:34. And then Thursdays were all education, 9 till 3.
That sucks.
And then, those are the tough days. That was like the hump day. Wednesday wasn't the hump day. It was Thursday. It was the hump day. But, and then Friday usually is match day -1 because we'd play Saturdays almost every week. And we would train, we'd have breakfast in the morning, pre-activation at 10, training at 11, shorter training, lunch, and then education in the afternoon from 1 to 3. And that was it. And then we used to play Saturdays, and then Sundays were off. So that was it. Those 2 years are really good years because you almost build a relationship with with the group that you're with. You know, you're in a few tournaments. There's like the under 18s Premier League Cup. There's the FA Youth Cup.
Which you guys won, right?
Yeah, we did that one year, which was that was a great ride. Yeah, and then you also have the league, of course. You know, so there's a lot of things to play for and strive to win, of course. So you do build that mentality within the team, and it's those are great years. Yeah, so I really enjoyed those years.
That's awesome. And then how did it go when they wanted you to sign a fully professional contract? And so when you signed, it's with Liverpool's like first team, right? Or is it with their U23 team, or how does that work?
It's weird because it's, if I'm wrong, is it here in the MLS? It's more like you sign a first team contract, which is just with the MLS first team.
Yeah.
Not with their second team. You would have to sign a different contract with their second team, right? I think in England it's more that it's just a generic professional contract. So whether it's like if you're on a professional contract you're with the club, you know, so you could play, if you're eligible to play under 18s, you can play under 18s, under 23s, first team, you know. So it's more just a general aspect, you know. You're not signing a contract with that specific age group. It's just to the club as a whole, you know.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I was obviously, when I first found out that I was going to be offered it, I was super excited. I was almost like, obviously as a footballer, I'm sure you know, those scenarios go through your head, you know, when you get offered your first professional contract, and you're like, it almost seems surreal that it's happening, you know. And that's how it felt for me, and I was just like, it was incredible. Yeah.
I always explain it. It's like one of the best moments of your career, but at the same time, it's almost like signing with the academy. You're like, okay, this is step one now.
No, 100%.
Or step zero, pretty much. Now it's like, this is where it starts.
Exactly. But you're starting at a whole different new level, so you got to build up again, you know?
But I always think it's so funny because it's like,
it's a unique, it's hard to explain, you know? It really is hard to explain.
And you got all like the nerves coming in, like, okay, here we go. Like all you're thinking about too is almost, it's hard to be in the moment, because I was always thinking like, okay, I was literally in training the next day after my first pro contract. So I was like, sweet, did it. Okay, now I'm just focusing about training and trying to get the starting spot.
Yeah, exactly. There's no time to you just got to get on with it, and, you know, obviously enjoy the moment when you have it, you know, but at the same time, there's work to do, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Exactly.
And then, so you said you signed, was it 3 or 4 year with Liverpool?
So I signed a 3-year deal originally. I signed it in the 2019-2020 season. So, and then at the end of the 2020-2021 season, I signed a 1-year extension. So it really turns out to be 4 in a sense.
Gotcha.
And so I have at the moment 18 months left in my contract at Liverpool. So that's really it at the moment. But so far I've enjoyed every bit of it at Liverpool. It's been a great experience.
And then how does like your day in the life now as a pro, and you're done with school now?
Yeah.
And so what does that look like typically?
To be honest, speaking on a generic standpoint, say for the whole team, like I was with the under 23s for most of the time, and we would go in at about 8:30, 8:45 for breakfast, have breakfast, you know, just chill for a bit, and then 10 o'clock again pre-training, 11 o'clock training outside, train for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Back in on certain days, depending on how far we are from the match day, we'll do the proper gym session that's required, and then after that, it's on your own. You know, you don't have any educational requirements. You know, personally, I do take a course. It's a leadership course with Liverpool that we're doing, and it's all online. But I've been doing that, and just to kind of keep me active, keep my mind going, and. But other than that, all that's required is what I told you before, is at the training ground. So the educational needs are no longer need to be met by the club. You know, it's probably through individual desires and wants. You know, so but that's really it. It's weird because I found that when I was at under 18s level, the schedule was very busy. You barely had time off. It was more like you were in a lot, you know, you were doing workshops, presentations, activities, and obviously training, all the footballing stuff. And then you would think that like you moved up the next level, you know, and it would be even more intense, more time consuming. And it's actually the opposite, but in the sense it is still Obviously the footballing part still consumes a lot of your time, because when you get older, the margins for errors and the little marginal gains become much more valuable, you know. So, and I think that's more in your court, you know. You've got to take the responsibility and the ownership to take care of those stuff, even when people at the club aren't telling you to do it. You have to make sure you do it. And that's one of the major things that I saw when going through.
Yeah, it's funny. I said the same thing. Like, I was like, a big misconception people have about like the pro life is like, you're so busy. Yeah. And really it's, you have more free time than you know what to do. I mean, you are busy, you're training all the time. And also when you're off the pitch, that's part of your job too, recovering, eating right, resting, sleeping. It's even hard to stay on track with that. But like a big misconception I think people have is like, you keep on ramping up in intensity, and really it's like almost dialing back because now you don't have school, and it's just like your whole focus 100%. Is just to be ready for tomorrow's training. Yeah.
I sort of feel like sometimes you think about what you did in the past doing splitting education and soccer, and it's like, how did I manage to do it? It's like a crazy thing to do, because you jump from one to the other, and it's like, it's great. Once you stop doing the educational part, it's like, oh my God, you know?
I remember going from, especially from college to the pro level, I was like,
I find that incredible. I don't know. That must be like super draining, you know?
Being a D1 collegiate athlete, I think, was the most tiring physically and mentally, like the hardest period of my life at that.
For 3-4 months, you're just going, it's nonstop basically. Traveling, you're playing, then you're training, then your schoolwork, you know, finals, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough.
No, definitely.
How much contact did you have with the first team of Liverpool? Was it just like you just see him training? Did you talk to him? What's that like?
Yeah, so they've built the new training ground on the right next to the academy site. So originally when I was there, that was being built, so they weren't there. They were on a different site, about 10-15 minute drive away. So we didn't really get to see much of them, you know, just because obviously we were far away. But now that we're on the same site, we do see much more of them, you know. And even like us as under 23s, we do mix in training sometimes, you know, depending on what they need, you know. And it's fantastic. It's a fantastic setup, you know, and it's good to be in and around where the first team players are, because it almost gives you something to really stay hungry to work for, you know. It's like you see those players, and those are the players you think you obviously see on FIFA and all that, and they're like, wow, you know, like that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. I want to be playing with those players that have been doing this day in, day out for years, and showing that they could play at the top level, you know. And you want to obviously go and do that as well. So
that's really cool. Now, I mean, you've been here how long have you been here? Like 2-3 weeks?
Close to a month now.
Well, first of all, how did the loan process work? Did they bring you in and be like, look,
so to be honest, I found out through my agent that Charleston were interested, you know, and would like to bring me in on a loan. And to be honest, it was one of those things where I was like, as soon as I heard about it, I was like, I think this could be really good for me, you know, and really exciting. And I just, of course, I've spoke with the staff here when I found out that the opportunity was available. And even from the first conversation, I was like, I knew I wanted to come, you know. And it all moved pretty quickly. So I found out on a Thursday, and then Thursday,
was it like in December?
No, January. So Thursday, I think Thursday. It was I think it was the last 2 weeks of the transfer window. So that Thursday, and then obviously once I found out I wanted to like kind of speak to the people at the club and get to know them, you know, as quickly as possible, and see, you know, just create a relationship. And I was on the flight home to New York, then to go to Charleston that Wednesday. So within 6 days, everything happened, and it was great. It was an exciting time, because I was like, obviously to be able to come back to the US, you know, after not being home for a while, was an exciting thing. And then also just like the opportunity, you know, this is my first go at playing in the men's game, you know, and I think that's something. I'm 20 years old now, you know. I really wanted to experience that and be around players that were experienced, have done this for years, and around a dressing room that really really has a good relationship with each other, So that was really something I wanted to experience and get under my belt and really challenge myself with.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
100%. It was definitely a no-brainer. It was 100%. I was set on coming here.
And for this loan, I mean, you don't have to answer it, and I'm always curious though. Is like
Mm-hmm.
Charleston taking over your contract? Are they helping with housing? How is that the dynamic of like that stuff work?
I think,
or you just don't know. You're just like, get me there.
I genuinely don't know. Like it's almost like a different language to me. All that stuff, But thankfully, my agent helps a lot with that, of course. But I think it's one of those things. No, I'm still contracted to Liverpool,
mm-hmm.
but certain aspects, like obviously the housing, Charleston takes care of and
mm-hmm.
and all of that. But no. Other than that, to be honest, I'm not. All the specifics of the contracts and everything, I'm not very.
I always joke about it. For me, it's just like I'm so much about, I want to be in a place that I'm happy. I want to be a place where I can compete, where I'm really wanted as a player.
Yeah.
Everything else, as long as I can get there and survive, like I'm happy.
Yeah, no.
And so I'm like, whatever, I'll sign it. Just have my agent deal with it.
Whatever the fine print is.
Yeah, I'm not going to read that.
No, obviously, of course, it's important to know on a general aspect what it's about and what's there to help you, of course. But that's why obviously having like an agent or someone that's who you can trust, is super important, because at the end of the day, it's your career, you want to do the best thing for yourself. Yeah.
So similarities and differences between Liverpool FC and Charleston Battery, like in terms of your day in the life, in terms of like training so far. And I know we've only been here for 3 weeks, but what's stuff that jumps out at you?
Definitely not the weather. Definitely not.
The weather's nice here, huh?
Definitely not. That's the number one thing. And the weather's just completely different here.
Mm-hmm.
But so in terms of, like, obviously I didn't know much about what the facilities were like. I never came here before. And what the routine was, with the schedule. But once I came here, there's a lot of similarities. You come in, you report, you get in hour and a half, 2 hours early. You do whatever pre-activation you need to do, to get you ready for the session. And to be honest, we both, like at Liverpool and here, we train in the morning. So that was good. I'm someone who likes to train in the morning.
Me too. I hate night sessions.
It's just waiting around, it's like the anticipation. You want to get going, you want to do it. And so all that is relatively similar. And then of course we have our lifts and our gym work, and same at Liverpool. We have those as well. So very similar. And even the style of play, obviously I know, we've been training together. It's intense, it's not long, but it's intense. And that's something that at Liverpool they pride themselves on, and they make sure they do it throughout all the age groups, And so to be honest, there's a much more similarities than differences with the way everything's ran and the schedule here. Yeah,
that's good to hear.
No, definitely.
I'd be interested. Like everything's different. This is shit here.
No,
I hate it.
No, it's actually, to be honest, like even from everything to the equipment, the facilities, the staff, coaches, everything's been fantastic so far. Yeah.
That's good.
Been great. Yeah,
that's good.
Enjoying it.
You been paid to say this at all?
No.
Connor's not telling you to say it. That's good. Okay, so then my last two questions about like your career before I move into more general questions. Yeah. What's been the highlight and then the lowest point of your career so far?
So I would say my highlight is probably, definitely signing my first professional contract with Liverpool. It's one of those things. Of course, I know as well. It's like, you can't even describe it. It's one of those things that it's just you dream about since you're 4 or 5 years old. You watch professional games on TV, and you're like, I'm gonna be there one day. I want to be there. And when you realize you've taken one step closer to that, it's like, wow. Like it really, it's just an amazing feeling, and you feel very proud. And then probably one of my most What was the other question?
The lowest.
One of my lowest feelings with in my football career was probably, it wasn't a specific moment, but it was more over a certain period of time. So last season, I struggled, especially with injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a really tough time because obviously with everything that was going on with COVID, life was very different. You know, there was not many distractions outside of football, you know, to kind of get your mind away when things weren't going well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely tough for me, you know. Obviously after coming off a season where I just signed my professional contract, I was doing really well, and then I unfortunately get a few injuries basically that kept me out for about 18 months, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just through those 18 months, I probably played about 10% of that time, you know. And it was frustrating, you know. It was really frustrating, especially Liverpool are very, very helpful with supporting my family with coming over, you know, to Liverpool to visit me, and obviously I'm very thankful for that. But obviously with COVID I didn't have that, you know, because no flying, you have to quarantine, and I found that really tough, you know, because there was times, I think it was the winter of 2021, I had a few injuries back to back to back, and it was just like, it felt like a cycle that was never going to end. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, obviously the staff at Liverpool, the coaching staff, the non-coaching staff, everyone was very, very supportive and there for me, you know, when I needed it, whether obviously help physically, mentally, you know, just on a emotional standpoint. So I'm grateful for that, you know.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from that time, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like every player goes through that, where it's, you get one, and then the rest of your body kind of gets like out of, like, not used to doing it every day.
100%.
And you come back and all of a sudden your ankles are weak, and then you sprain an ankle.
100%.
And then you come back from the ankle, oh, now your groin hasn't done anything. And it's so hard to get everything back up. And you have those same thoughts, like, I'm never going to return. I'm never going to be like that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden.
It's one of those things that, yeah, of course, obviously, probably 95% of footballers go through it, you know. It's a horrible feeling, because obviously for someone who takes care of themselves, you know, and looks after themselves physically, to help them stay fit as long as possible, it's tough to accept, like, that you get those injuries, because it's like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, of course, and then you see everybody playing, and it's like,
that's the worst.
That's the worst part, is watching people train and play and knowing that, like, you know what, without this I could be out there and I could be competing, you know. So
yeah.
But,
It's tough. Those periods,
it is
terrible.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's so funny. Like, for me, at least, I was doing that and I was thinking the same thing. I can't get injured again, whatever. Hope, you know, and all of a sudden a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and you're still playing. Yeah. And all of a sudden you start taking it for granted. Like, wow, I'm running 100%. Without pain. I'm moving without any fear in my head. Yeah. And you're like, I'm so happy I'm back.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's important. Obviously there's so many things that happen. Football season's so intense, and things go by so quickly that you kind of, sometimes you forget to be present in the moment, you know. And that's important, I think. Like, obviously from coming off the back of the past 18-24 months for me, you know, with a lot of injuries, kind of I still need to do better at it, of course, but work on enjoying each day, you know. Each day that I'm able to train and be fit and healthy is a good day, you know. And you look at it like that, and hopefully you have many good days, you know. So
okay, cool.
Definitely.
Now I want to dive into, like, the extra work that you do outside of, like, your team training and team weights, because a lot of times, like, you'll have weeks or months where the training load's so high you're really not doing much. Yeah. But then there's periods like off season or lighter weeks, or maybe when you're younger. What's that look like? Do you do extra stuff at all?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, you just pointed that out, that there's certain times of the season where you have to actually almost, like, less could be more, you know, because you're in season, you want to be fit, you want to stay healthy, you want to be available for matches, and you got to look after your body, you know. So sometimes not doing those extra few sessions throughout the week could kind of almost preserve your body and help towards longevity. But yeah, obviously off season, so when I'm when I was with Liverpool, you know, I would come home around end of May and have probably 5 to 6 weeks off, you know, for the off season. And I usually would tend to take about 10 days just to completely rest and kind of mentally take a break from everything. And then they do give us a running program to do, you know, so the strength and fitness coach over there does take care of that. He sends it to us and we do it. We have to log it on an app. And but then on the side from that, thankfully a lot of times that I've been home, my brother's been home, both my brothers, and we always go to the field and practice whatever it is. You know, my brother's a center back, so I'll help him with certain center back specific drills. He'll help me with midfield drills, and my other brother will help chip in as well, because even though he's not playing competitively, he always likes to.
Yeah. What's he gonna do? Sit at home?
He still has it, you know. He still enjoys to play. So.
And you guys just go to like a public field somewhere?
Yeah, usually like a high school field or a turf field, you know. But yeah, it's just mostly just getting touches on the ball. You know, that's the main thing. So yeah, but even before, like when I was at my academy team in New York, I would. A lot of times either we would go to training early, we'd get there probably half hour, 40 minutes early, and either do some technical work, some passing, you know, whatever it was that was gonna help us. And I think, like, obviously for me, having my brothers is a huge help, you know, because it's always great to have a training buddy, you know, and someone that pushes you and that's in the same boat that wants to get better, you know. So both my brothers were, I think that was a good, really like helpful thing to have, you know.
I think that's cool. Like you have someone who's signed with Liverpool, coming home, going to a public field, training. Like it's simple. Like that quote of like football is like a simple game. It's so true. You just go out and just play. You get touches on the ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like it doesn't matter. Your situation's never always gonna be perfect. You're coming home. You're not gonna have the best facilities like you have it over in Liverpool.
No, but you just gotta make the most of it.
Yeah, you just get touches in, training, doing whatever you can. Sometimes the field's taken and you gotta go and find a different one.
Yeah, 100%.
I like that. I think that's really cool.
No, definitely.
And then like, do you do, let's say in like a hard week too, do you ever do any extra gym work or fitness work, or does it just again depend on the week?
Yeah, so I'm someone that that likes to go in the gym. I know a few of the boys on the team will make fun of me. Don't have the biggest arms out here, but I'm working on it. And no, so I do definitely like to do my my extra gym work. You know, thankfully at Liverpool they help us a lot with the strength aspect in the gym. You know, but anytime that obviously my body feels good and I feel like it's going to be beneficial for me. I like to do a lot of core work, you know, all different type of core work, you know, like soccer specific core work, all that, you know. And yeah, so I definitely do spend a good amount of time on the physical aspect, you know, really looking after my body. And yeah, no, it's something that especially once I got over to Liverpool and realized of course, as you get older, at any professional level, you realize the marginal gains become very important, and that's, for me personally, that's one of the major marginal gains to have, you know, especially if you want to have a career like you into your 30s, you know.
Oh, I'm still in my 20s, Matteo. All right, I'm still in my 20s.
29 and a half, you know, until 29 and a half, yeah. But no, yeah, genuinely, I think it's something that I've ever since then I've realized this is something that if I take seriously could really benefit me, you know, in the long run. So
that's, I think, the longevity of it. Like you see, like, I mean, players that take care of their body and they're super into nutrition, super into working out, nothing crazy working out, but just focusing on their body, what their body needs, tend to have very successful long careers. Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, like 100%. Looking at players like that.
100%.
But everybody has their own thing, so I'm always interested to hear that.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, it's something. That's something that I realized too, obviously, as you get older. You may not see at the moment, you know, with genetics and whatever it is, like some people at 20, 23, 20, 21, 22, 23, you know, they could do whatever they want, you know, and whatever, they're free to do whatever they want, you know. But my personal belief is that you look after yourself, and those things that you do early on in your career will eventually will show later on, you know. And that's why I'm hoping that the work I'm doing now will help then, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So.
What did you misunderstand about being a pro? We kind of talked about the misconception about free time, but is there anything else?
Yeah.
Or a general one that maybe you think the public has about, like, a misconception about being a pro?
Yeah. So one of the things that maybe I had a misconception about, like in terms of how I perceived it, was that like every single minute of your day is occupied by football. You're worried about watching film, doing this, you know, worrying about you're doing your individual work, you know, all that. And I've realized, especially when I went through those tough moments, you know, in my career, in my early career, I realized that it's important to also have a getaway, you know, and I think it's really important if someone could, especially in the professional sports world, you can manage separating your personal life from your footballing life. I think that's very helpful in the long run, because at the end of the day, like, we're humans, you know. You like to sit around and enjoy time with your family, watching TV, doing whatever it is, you know, going on walks with them. So it's really important to have that time where you disconnect. And actually, I think that disconnection almost could lead to better performance, you know, and be more consistent, and just overall enjoying and being happier when you do enter your professional life, you know.
Yeah, I think it's like that less is more type of thing.
100%.
And I think every player has to learn it themselves.
Yes.
I think every player has to go through periods where all they have is football, and then something goes wrong, whether it's an injury, being benched, whatever. And then they have to go through the period of like realizing how dark like it can get, like day to day. And then you realize I need to do something to really distract me. As long as what I'm doing is not going to take away from my performance, you know.
Definitely.
Like I'm not being like, oh yeah, go and swim 5 miles if that's your getaway.
Yeah, it has to be within a reasonable,
whatever it is, you know. But like, yeah, I think that's super important. Like even like little things of like even having, like, for me, a cat.
100%.
Like it's just like come home, and then now I can like worry about these two, and it just helps my mind go away from how my performance was at training, good or bad. And then I think it's so important too. It's because it's like it's amplified whatever it is. Like I've been in places where all I've had is football, and then you start thinking about it more. And then if your performance slips a little bit, you have a bad day, that's all you can think about the entire day.
100%.
And then it's in your head more. And it's almost like the times you play the best is when you're not even thinking, and it's just instinctual. You're happy to be there. You're confident, and you're just playing. And the more you think and think and think and try to get in your own head, for me, that's always the worse I perform, you know?
100%. Yeah. You said, is it through experience is where you really learn it? And that hit the nail on the head, like, for me.
Because you can tell people that.
You could tell people that. And it's, to be honest, people told me that as well when I was starting to go through those tough times. And, you know, I, on a general aspect, understood what they were saying, but I was like, until I really had to go through moments where I wasn't doing it right, I realized, okay, this is something that's having a big effect, you know, and something that could really help me if I get it down right and really use it towards my benefit, you know? And
that escape can be like anything, like reading a non-football specific book, 100%. Having an animal, going out to coffee, 100%. And just like even getting into like a YouTube series or Netflix show that's not about football, you know?
Yes, exactly.
And then like, or whatever, like going to the beach and walking around, and as long as you're not in the sun for 6 hours.
Whatever it is, honestly.
Going for a round of golf.
Just something that's not football. It sounds wild because you think, like, oh, it's a good thing to be so in tune with it, but sometimes it's that we go back to that thing again. It's less is more. So that's one of my major misconceptions, and that obviously there's still times where I tend to think a lot about football, but I'm getting better at kind of realizing when I'm doing that, and then kind of snapping out of it, you know. But no, definitely. Other than that, though, everything about the professional lifestyle is quite what you think it is, you know? Yeah, definitely.
What's your morning routine look like? Do you have one at all?
My morning routine is I wake up, so I get in around 8:30, 8:40, and so I'll get up around 7:20, you know, get up, get cleaned up, wash my face, blah blah blah, brush my teeth, and then I'll go make breakfast. go make breakfast, and then I'll have.
Do you have the same thing for breakfast every day?
I like to change it, so I switch between toast and eggs and spinach, and then and a piece of fruit, or I'll have a bowl of oatmeal with some fruit, peanut butter, little drizzle of honey, and then
there you go.
You have to have the sugar in there.
But coffee?
I do. After that is a shot of espresso.
Okay.
So I
double
love
shot
espresso.
or single shot?
No, single shot. Single shot.
Just one little.
I'm only 20 years old.
I need a quadruple to get me up in the morning.
No, but yeah. Then after that, that's really it. That sets me up for my morning. And then I get in. Obviously, I try to get in a little early to make sure I have time. I have a certain routine that I like to do before I go out for training. That makes me feel good. So I make sure I have enough time to do that. And then, yeah, to be honest, I've just enjoyed even being in a little early just to be around the locker room environment.
Yeah,
It's a good environment we have. So
it's very good.
Yeah.
I want to get EJ on here next and talk about his morning routine.
Yeah.
Pop in a couple Pop-Tarts.
2 minutes in the toast. Brush your teeth in 2 minutes. Yeah.
But the thing is, I make fun of people like that. But again, like if it's working for
if
you,
it works for you, it works for you. There's no.
There's better players than me that have way worse routines.
Hey, if I could do that and my body was at tip top shape, probably would.
It's like when people are like, Adama Traore doesn't work out. I'm like, well, if I look like him without working out,
I probably wouldn't work out either.
I wouldn't work out either.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I don't work out, I'm gonna look like I'll look like you.
Yeah. Hey. I'm just kidding. Getting personal here.
That's funny. I'm just kidding, Matteo. You got a good physique.
You
got a good.
It's growing in. It's growing in. It's
and
just
you're young. You're 20 years old.
Good things take time. Yeah.
Don't listen to people.
AJ and Pat, you hear that, right?
If they're listening to this, screw you guys. Who's been the biggest mentor in your career?
Biggest mentor in my career. That's tough. But genuinely, I'd probably nail it down to my immediate family. It'd probably mom, dad, and both brothers, because whenever I had something that wasn't going right or something that was kind of, I was going through those tough moments and even through the good moments, like they're the first ones that I let know,
Yeah.
And I always feel comfortable speaking to them about it. It's always something, whether it's on a life aspect, emotional aspect, footballing aspect.
It's their automatic feeders. They love it.
And then, so they've always been there for me, and I just always know that if I have something that I need to speak about, I always know they're there, And I think also they're the ones that have been 100% honest with me. So there's times where, obviously, on a footballing aspect, they'll be honest with me, like, no, you need to be doing this better, or you need to be applying this more, or especially my dad, especially through my younger years, he was the man that was doing that, and I look back on it now, like sometimes it may have been tough love, but it's you don't appreciate that until you get older and you realize, wow, like where would I be if I didn't have that, know? So I really do appreciate that from.
I remember when I had a bad game. Yeah. I'd be like, I had to go in the car with my dad. I was like, no.
Please get home quickly.
Yeah. And you could just feel he was mad. Nah. It's just always the effort. That was his thing.
Sit as far in the back as you can.
Yeah. So, but it's true. You don't appreciate it till you're older.
No, of course, and it's important to have that stuff. That's what that's what molds you into the person you are when you get older. So 100%.
If you weren't a footballer, what would you be doing? Or on the flip side, what are you going to do after you're done playing?
That's a good question. That I don't know. But if I wasn't a footballer right now, I really enjoy food and cooking.
Okay.
I would say I get made fun of in the locker room for that. But I think probably something in the food industry, whether it's a chef or who knows, even starting a cooking channel or a cooking blog. I love cooking, so that's probably one of the major things, for me.
What are you making for dinner tonight?
I batch cook, so I had turkey chili, made a little bit of that with some guacamole, so good stuff.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah, I like cooking every 3-4 days.
Yeah, to be honest, I love cooking. It's the cleaning.
Yeah,
it's the cleaning. it's just like
You got to get a girlfriend who
I know.
comes, and then you have the
and then
thing
it's
of
50-50. It's easy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We always do that.
Exactly.
Whoever cooks, the other person cleans.
Yeah, that's the way to go. But
Except Mimi uses
I'm
every
still
single
waiting.
pot and pan and plate in the whole kitchen.
I as soon as one thing has a little piece of food on it, it's dirty.
And then she'll go and mix her eggs in the bowl. Oh, this one's too small. Dump it in the bigger one. Mix them in there, and then put them in the pan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know,
what about you? What's
If I wasn't,
you think about anything in after football?
I want to be like a trainer, like not like in the gym. Well, maybe in the gym too, but just like have like my own facility and have like take pros or college players in off season and bring it and train them, film it, do some like
footballing wise as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like mainly that, and then also in the gym, but
That's
mainly
awesome.
on the field training.
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
There's a lot of people that a lot of athletes out there that would.
Or I'm just hoping my TikTok just blows up and I'm just a full-time TikToker.
You never know, right? Be doing those dances, right?
What keeps you up at night?
To be honest, I'm one of those guys who's a deep thinker. So even if it's like little stupid things, I think about it way too much, and then I realize in the morning I'm like, I was thinking about that. Like I wasted my time thinking about that.
Yeah.
So but nothing in particular, to be honest. Just you a deep thinker or?
No, I don't think.
No
Thinking. Not much going on.
Not much going on. Well,
Mimi always jokes about that with me. She's like I do get normal levels of stress, but like I really kind of just go with the flow for the most part.
That's
I guess the thing that
be.
keeps me up at night is usually it would be whenever I'm injured.
Yeah.
Thinking about that, or it's like in periods of my life where I'm like a free agent and I'm like stressing about where I'm going next.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I think that's normal. Don't you think? Yeah, like I feel like
normal. I don't think it's unhealthy levels at all. It's just normal levels.
To be honest, I think there's a certain level of stress that keeps you like in that.
Or else you don't do anything. You're not proactive.
Yeah, exactly,
at all. Yeah.
exactly. But then, to be honest, I'm kind of the opposite way. I'm not from you, just like the opposite way of being no stress. I'm a little bit. Sometimes I overthink things where it's like I know they're not in my control and I still overthink. So that's something I need to definitely work on. My
sisters really like that, and Mimi are both kind of like that.
Yeah.
I feel like a little like my sister and Mimi, like they'll think of for example, like they'll think of a hypothetical situation about like their job maybe.
Yeah.
And they're like, what if that happens? And then like, well, then I'm not prepared there. And then what if this happens? And then there's 6 steps ahead.
But it never happened.
I'm like, you're on step 6 right now. Think of it.
But you're really on step 1. Yeah.
You're on step 0. It hasn't even happened yet.
No,
it's
100%.
funny. But yeah, I think it is funny. I think
Definitely.
most footballers though, for the most part, are pretty good at managing stress because that's their whole job of like on the field. Like you're in a comfortable 100%. Situation every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
When you have eyes on you and everything, you have to. It's a super important skill to develop. Or I mean, if you're naturally gifted with it, it's great. But like, even if you're not, it's something that's really worth developing because even on with obviously footballing aspect, life aspect, it's one of those things where. There's certain things in the sport that you can't control, you know, and you just got to make sure you show up every day ready to do whatever it's going to do to help you be your best, you know?
Mm-hmm. What's something about you that most people don't know?
That's a trick question. I do speak Italian. I speak
fluently?
Italian. Probably not fluently, but like very good conversational.
Okay.
So very good conversationally. I did used to speak. Actually, there you go. There's the thing. I spoke fluent Italian before I spoke English fluently. So when I was younger.
Okay.
So Italian is technically my first language.
Was that because your family spoke Italian at home?
Yeah, all the time. So my mom and dad spoke to me in Italian when we were younger, and then once as a nursery or preschool came, had to learn English. So we learned English there, and then obviously. You just tend to speak English when you're around, you know, and we'd go to Italy when we were younger quite a few times because our grandparents had a house there, and when we'd go, it's like the first week you were a bit rusty with speaking, and then next 2-3 weeks it was like you were flying, you know, you were getting everything, and it was coming back. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's probably one of my after cooking is I really enjoy learning about new languages and cultures. So that's something that I really enjoy.
Okay, next question. If you could grab coffee with anybody in the world, dead or alive, who would you do it with?
Ooh,
Who'd you grab coffee with? Let me rephrase that last part.
After watching one of his podcasts, he was on a podcast, Matthew McConaughey.
Really?
Yeah. I don't.
Why?
Do you know? What's it called? Two English guys do it. It's a podcast.
Men in Blazers?
No. Performance, something like that. Top Performance.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to look this up. Performance
Matthew
podcast.
McConaughey, huh? I love Matthew McConaughey, to be fair.
He's great.
Did you read his book?
Oh, I don't know what it is, but it was a great podcast. No, I haven't read his book, but someone else suggested to me to read his book, so maybe that's next on the list after Angels and Demons.
Okay, cool.
So,
and what would you talk about with him?
Just I really enjoyed his perspective on just what he thought about life, and his approach to things, and how he sort of he realized that, like, one of the big things was that he knew what was in his control and what wasn't in his control. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's obviously, as a natural person that I am, I need work on, and I felt like it was something that's definitely relatable to me that I could use. So, he just seemed like a very genuine guy. And then also, of course, the fact that he's the owner of Austin FC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's obviously the footballing things.
Yeah.
Kind of drew me to him as well. But he just seems like a genuine, for how big of a profile he is, genuine, like, down to earth guy, you know?
That's cool.
I would not. If you're watching this, Matthew McConaughey, let's get coffee soon. Okay?
Actually,
if you're down in Charleston,
he's DM'd me. He loves my podcast. I'm just kidding.
I was good. Yeah, Gullibles running on the ceiling.
What's the most important personality trait someone needs in order to have a good professional career?
Definitely resilience, especially in those moments where you feel like you're not performing as well as you're capable of, or things that start going your way. The aspect of always just showing up, giving your all, doing your non-negotiables is huge. And it's one of those things where those tough times, you stick with it and you do what you do the right things. Those tough times will pass, and I'd say resilience, and I'd say just a really competitive spirit, like always wanting to compete, win, and be the best you can be, Not maybe the best you can be isn't the best in the group you're in, but you could only do the best you could do. You can't control anything that's outside of your realm of possibilities. So those are the two main things I think.
Yeah,
really builds a professional. Yeah,
I think competitiveness is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like also like the ability to keep the competitiveness every single day.
100%.
Because players that just like take days off, like every single day, every single thing.
I think
competitive.
it was Arsene Wenger who said it. I saw a little clip on social media. It's not the intensity of the motivation, it's the stamina of the motivation. Yeah. And that's important. If you can keep a high level of motivation at a consistent level, chances are you're gonna do well, mm-hmm. And you just gotta keep doing and stay in there. So
yeah,
definitely.
What do you usually do when you get home after training?
So it depends. So usually we get back for lunch. I'll have lunch, chill for a little bit, depending on how tired I am. Maybe take a little 30-40 minute snooze.
Do you set an alarm?
I do. So I set it for an hour because it takes me probably about 10 to 20 minutes to kind of get to bed. But yeah, other than that, I like to do a lot of things, whether it's one of the things I do enjoy doing. It's weird. I like food shopping. So I like walking up and down the aisles. Even if I don't need anything out of the aisle, I'll just walk up and down to see what they have.
You want to go do my groceries for me?
Depends how much you pay me.
I was hoping you'd pay me for the privilege.
I pay you?
Yeah.
We're going to have to negotiate on that one. Yeah.
So you just like to go. You just like to go to stores.
Are you
sometimes.
personal Instacart? Like,
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Why
I don't
not?
know. We'll talk later about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
But
Behind the scenes.
you like to go. How often do you go to the grocery store? Like a week?
definitely once a week.
Yeah.
If not twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
I usually go about once a week.
I think
maybe
it's just
twice.
mixed with my like passion for food, I guess. Yeah.
Do you like when are you browsing on Instagram or TikTok or you see the food stuff pop up all the time? Recipes?
Especially Italian food.
What's your best recipe you can cook? You think?
Ooh, I do make. I have done it a few times, carbonara. So
Okay.
yeah,
I
the
love
authentic way.
carbonara.
And with just the egg yolks, the Parmesan cheese, the pecorino, and cracked black pepper, pasta water.
What kind of pasta do you use with it?
I use bucatini. So they're like so you think it's like a thick spaghetti, but in the middle there's a thin hollow tube.
Okay. I don't think I've ever
You know,
had it.
one day I'm gonna have to make it for you.
Okay, it's a date.
That's behind the scenes.
As long as EJ's not at your place, just kick him out.
Yeah, he'll probably have some hot tarts or something. Or corn dogs.
I love that kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a very good kid.
I like messing with him, but I really like that kid.
No, great banter.
Yeah.
You know, he's a great kid,
and he has a lot of potential. I think.
Yeah. You forget how young he is too. You know, and obviously his natural athleticism that he has is incredible. You know, and you don't want him going 1v1 at you. Definitely not.
Yeah,
but he's a good kid too. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
Now just the last two questions for you. This is the main
Let's
two
hear
questions
it.
I always ask. If you had a time machine and you could go back and talk to younger Matteo, when would you go back and what piece of advice would you give him?
I would go back probably to when I was like 8 or 9. And saying this, like I did play a lot outside of my club as well.
Yeah.
But play as much pickup soccer as you can. And with whoever it's with, and even if it's on a concrete ground, asphalt, grass, turf, whatever, play. And even if you don't have goals, just play. That's in my opinion. Obviously, like there's all these drills that you can do that are very good, you know, and will get you sharp on the ball and improve your technical abilities and all this. But for me, the best thing and the most enjoyable thing was always, whether it was 3v3s, 2v2s, 4v4s, 5v5s, 6v6. Playing is the most enjoyable way to get that in, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, everything else, obviously the drills are great as well, but everyone wants to play and you want to compete. So that's, if I can go back, I would play even more pickup.
Yeah, I really like that. It's true. I mean, even if you look at our team training sessions, even my off-season training sessions when I'm with pros in San Diego, it's just like majority of it is just playing. Like whether it's
100%.
1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s, 5-a-side, like
it's like
playing.
It's like the ultimate tool. You get your fitness in, you get your match-related moves in, you know? Technically, obviously, you get your passing, dribbling, first touch, everything, defending, everything you can get from it. And it's fun, and you're playing with your friends.
Yeah,
so it's like, where are you going wrong? You know?
Yeah. I was where I was growing up, I was in this neighborhood of like, it's like typical American neighborhood where guys just rode their bikes, played basketball, football, but like not actual like soccer. Yeah. And so I was like, so it was just me and my brother in the entire neighborhood that played. And so we just did 1v1s the entire time. Yeah. And then every single time would end in a fight. But we did the same thing.
I was just about to say, same with my brothers. We used to, it started off peaceful and civilized for the first 2 or 3 1v1s. And then after that, it was like, we were kicking the crap out of each other. But I don't regret it. Regret it.
It's good. It gives you some grit.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Okay, the last question I have for you, Matteo.
Drum roll.
Lots of people right now are probably listening to this, and there's a lot of players that want to be in your shoes, go through the academy system, sign with Liverpool, play professionally. What piece of advice do you have for them? This is super general. It's a really tough question overall. And we've covered a lot. We've touched on a lot. But do you have anything that pops in your mind right away?
I would just say, it's a really good question. But I would say every time you go to play, I know it sounds very cliche, but play as if it's your last, you know? Because it's one of those things that if you do that, obviously you're going to be giving 100% effort. And you give 100% effort every time, you're only going to get better. you know, and whatever happens in a career, there's a lot of things in football and the soccer world that you can't account for, you know, that are out of your control, and you'll be in the best position you could possibly be if you do that, you know, and that's the main thing. And the main thing is to enjoy the here and now that you have, you know, because time goes by very quickly, you know, and it's one of those things, like, it happens to me sometimes. I tend to get caught up in, like, thinking about the future, and then you think about 3 or 4 years ago, you think, well, I should just be not worrying even, but just focusing and enjoying the time that I'm here, because when 3 or 4 years ago, I was dreaming about being in the position that I was in now. So, like, enjoy it now, enjoy it for all it is, because none of this lasts forever, you know, whether you have the longest career possible or the shortest career possible. So
yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah. That's really good.
100%.
It's true, because it's like time does, like, your career goes. So I was like 20, like last year, I remember, but it's crazy. And it's true, like, with injuries or with even, like, being cut or bad performance in seasons, like, you never know when is going to be your last time playing in front of, like, at the level you're currently playing.
100%.
So 100%. It is true. Like, you have to, like, really be present, enjoy it, while also, like, working every single day trying to set your future self up for success. But
exactly.
It's a hard balance, because it's like you worry about the future, and that's what causes you to work so hard now, because it's for your future self, but yet you want to be present and enjoy it now.
No, 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
No, definitely. Those are the main things, I think, you know. Definitely.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed being on the Against All Odds podcast.
It was very, very good. Thank you very much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
And I'll get your little Instagram pop up on your chest right when you're introduced. Right, so go follow Matteo on his Instagram, other social media stuff. Anything else?
Perfect. No, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you again. No problem. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
We play Coastal Carolina tomorrow, so
it should be a good game.
You're just going home,
countdown
rested?
To the season, yeah.
You're just chilling, eating your turkey chili.
Just gonna chill. Yeah, turkey chili, relax tonight. Maybe a little bit of Netflix. I do like stand-up comedy, so maybe.
Who's your favorite comedian?
Ooh, he's this new one. It's called Mark Norman.
Mark Norman.
I do like Mark Norman, but who's the other one that Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's
really funny. He's Italian, isn't he?
Yeah, that's why I just feel like I relate to him. He's hilarious.
I like Jim Jeffries a lot.
Oh, he's good. He's
so
class.
I saw him live in St. Louis.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's one of the things. I've never been to a comedy show, and I'd love to. I was supposed to go to Sebastian Maniscalco's event I think it was on the 29th of December.
Yeah.
It was canceled because of the Omicron wave. So.
Yeah. But, it's 10 times funnier in person.
Yeah, I would love. My oldest brother, I think he's going to one today, I think, actually, in New York City. But he's been to, like, Joe Rogan, like, so many of them. And he's the one who actually got me into it. So, yeah, credit to him.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.